It's not always fun and games for first responders.
05 Central, you show me in pursuit.
But sometimes it is.
Oh my God, he's not wearing pants again.
Sometimes it's dangerous.
Flipping around, look out, look out, look out.
Sometimes it's not.
Antler Boulevard for a snake in a house.
And sometimes it's just plain stupid.
Chihuahua in his lap on a lawnmower.
This is the stupid side of first response.
Dispatch, do I really have to go to that?
This is Code 0.5.
I'm in 0.5.
Hey everybody, it's Jason again with my co-host Rich, and we're in Victory Brand Studios, and I guess Renix was actually out doing something, so he showed up today.
Up there doing paperwork.
And you know what? This is something I probably need to say and let everybody know, that a lot of the shit that we give Renix, it's not true. We make up stuff. I mean, it's freaking comedy. I mean, some of the stuff is true, but I mean, we're just jacking with him. And, you know, like the stories we tell, the crap that we deal with, that stuff is all true. And we don't put out any names or anything like that. But, you know, as far as Renix goes, it's for pure entertainment.
It's embellished.
I mean,
there's embellishment there to make it funny.
I mean, there.
What did that AI call me? The comedic jackass?
No, it didn't say comedic.
No, you're giving yourself some credit there. See, that's what we're talking about. Daily, things like that happen, and we correct it, and then we come in here and we be telling the story. So that's how you just got first-hand glimpse of how we get our content. Right there. That's exactly how it happens.
Yeah, so I have a feeling for some reason that needed to get out there. But
what does that go to?
I don't know.
There's random cords laying around in here.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't we supposed to go live doing this?
Yeah, I thought about that, but
I got a feeling our live. I bet we would beat out News 9 if we went live.
I didn't bring my tripod and stuff and put like my phone on it.
There ain't no tripod. I'll hook it up. Hang on a minute. We're going live. Well, oh no, I won't be able to do it, because if I do it, then I can't do the stupid criminal.
Oh, well, it'd be better if I had the tripod and we could put that thing up somewhere.
There's a tripod right there.
People could see it, but there's nothing to mount my phone onto.
Where's it got to be mounted?
Oh, God.
This is, God, it's 2023. You need one of those fancy phone cases that just sticks to the wall.
Yes.
Why do I have to be the one to get it?
Oh, get one for all of us. Renix.
Now I got to get one for all of you.
Amazon.
Let me find that real quick.
Now, I know you guys haven't seen me in about a week?
No.
There's a reason for it.
I feel
there
like
better be a damn good one.
I feel like after we got him that present, he doesn't want to.
Yeah, my feelers have been hurt.
Ain't no damn present. That's a freaking joke that needs to be taken out of there.
No, it will stay there. People actually come in and ask, like, where's the deputy at?
Really?
I mean, yeah, they need to talk to the deputy. Live out in the county, and they know you're usually there. Like, he's out on something right now.
Well,
I can take a message, though.
I'm going to be out on something for a while.
Really?
I have a rookie.
Oh, nice.
Another rookie.
Yep. And I have more gray hairs now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's part of it.
My very first day with him, we get into something where we're able to find where some stolen property went to.
Right.
So, and I gave him all kinds of hell for this because, you know, it ended up, we located where it was at. We were able to get a search warrant. We were able to find more stolen property. And I mean, we recovered stolen property. We got a pound of some illegal drugs off the street.
Nice. Of the crystal variety?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
Distribution.
Yeah. But the sucker kept me out past my shift.
See, now that'll never do.
See, ever since that happened, everything's just been downhill from there.
Yeah.
That's just.
Did you not have the talk with him before?
No, I didn't.
All our police work is contained from 8 to 4.
Exactly.
You tell him if he keeps you after, there must be payment.
Yeah, if something happens after 4 o'clock, nope, not happening.
He's catching all the paper, though. So.
And see, people, this is where I'm joking. But no, we get this thing, and I mean, it ended up being good, everything that he did, but we get this search warrant pulled. So everybody, a bunch of us get together and we put out a game plan, what we're going to do. And so, of course, when you go and do that, the first thing you do is make sure everything's safe, secure, all the people involved, you get them pulled out of the home, detained, all that stuff. Well, before we even left and while we were en route, I'm telling this rookie the whole time, I'm like, hey, when we get there, you're going to go past the first house because there's a second team behind us that's going to the second house. So you're going to go past the first house. You're going to hang a left and go up this long, dirt road and go to the second house. As soon as we get there, we're going to announce ourselves and get everybody out and detain them and make it safe, make it, secure, detain, do whatever we got to make everything safe. He's like, okay. So then we leave, and I'm telling him, okay, this is what we're doing. I explain it to him again. We pull up there, and we get to the first house, and he starts slowing down. And I'm like, what are you doing? Keep going. You're going to go past the first house. Oh, okay. So we go past because when you're going on a search warrant, you're amped up.
You got to go.
It's like, okay, we got to get this done. We got to get it over with.
Because once they see your lights or once they see, anything coming down the driveway they know is not theirs, they're immediately fixing to start chucking shit, throwing stuff.
Flushing stuff, running,
getting rid of it,
whatever they got to. And this place where we went, there was over 100 acres. So there's anywhere they could go.
Yikes.
So I'm like, no, keep going, go. And he's going, I'm pointing where to go, and he makes the turn where you're going towards the house. And as we're driving up to it, you're on the dirt road, and then you got to turn left to kind of pull down I say it's a driveway, but it's about 100 yards from where the road is. So we're about at that point where we need to turn left to go to the house. And then I start hearing him say, hey, there's that stolen stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Well, he starts veering off to the right, going towards the stolen stuff.
No.
And then I lose it right there. I'm like, what are you doing?
We not worried about that right now.
And I'm like, go to the house. No, that way. Go.
We need the people that stole the stuff.
And he's like, okay. And then he because he'd already committed to the right. So then he has to make this big loop back left and go towards the house. And he's like, oh, man, I'm sorry. I was like, stop saying sorry. Just go to the house. And we get up there, go up to the house, and, it's one of those that we're not going to kick the door in and that kind of stuff. So get up there, bang on the door, and somebody says something. And I tell them, it's the cops are here. You need to come out now, blah, blah, blah. And I thought it was a female. Well, the person doesn't respond. And I yell again, and they say something else about, my brother or something.
Don't care.
And I'm like, what's he doing? He's delaying this. So I open the door, go in, and immediately around the corner after I open the door walks this 8 to 10-year-old kid.
Oh. And
immediately I go from amped up, I'm getting a hold of everybody, to I felt like shit. This kid was crying at his hand. And then I tone it way down. I'm like, hey, come on, buddy. We just need you to come outside. I promise you're not in any trouble. You just need. And then, 14-year-old brother comes around the corner, and he's talking to his brother, and he's like, man, it's okay, and they go outside. This little boy's crying, So we go through, search the house. There's nobody else in there. It's like, okay, the building's secure. And then we get back outside, and here old rookie goes, hey, what are we doing now? Well, before I told him, I was like, when we get there, any vehicles that are there, any motorized vehicle, start running them to check and see if the stuff's stolen, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what happened, because it ended up me and another guy ended up checking all of them, and I don't know what he ended up doing. Yeah, I don't know.
No, so he's like kind of like a Dory thing. He'll be on it and oh, butterfly.
I
over here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that. I'm like, dude, stop. Just quit saying sorry. But
just gotta listen. He's probably nervous.
Oh, I bet
a lot of nerves.
And I was gonna ask him about it too. I was like, dude, do I make you nervous or something? But yeah, I never got around to asking him. Well, and then I also asked him if he listened to the podcast, and he said no. So then I was insulted.
Oh, this will be the first one he listens to.
Yep.
Then you're gonna feel like that big.
But he's like all the other rookies. You know, when they first start out, they're so scared of making a mistake that they're hesitant. And it's like, no, we just gotta just do it, just go. But I mean, he knows what to do. He just doesn't want to mess up. Because I'm watching what he does, and it's like, okay, I have the final say, or I have a say so whether
that's a lot of it.
You're going to be cut loose, and it's like, dude, just go, just get it done,
send it. And talking about that search warrant deal and kids, we had one that we did. It's been a couple years ago. It was like one of the first ones that I was ever on. You know, like start to finish, the whole investigation through all of it, and then you know, going to the final end of it, you know, where you're stacking up and you're kicking a door. Well, we had been watching and, you know, kind of getting some intel on who's and when and, you know, trying the best time. And we knew there were kids there, but we were like, okay. So we're passing the word and spreading the word like, hey, I think everybody's gone for the weekend, just the ones we want. Okay, cool. So everybody meets up, we game plan it. We're like, all right, we're going to go. So it's freaking, there's I think it was like 3 or 4 in the stack. And one of the guys, I think he came back with you, total freaking badass. But he was like second in the stack. But your supervisor, day shift supervisor, and I'll never forget this. We booted that door. And as soon as we started going in, dude, it was like every freaking kid that could have ever been there was there.
Yeah.
Dude, we're going in and, you know, we're looking for adults and trying, you know, you're slinging people out to the people out through the door, you know, going through and get down and handcuffing. And we came through that door and I remember your supervisor was in front of me and he had his rifle up and stuff and he was coming around and he saw kids and he just immediately dropped that rifle, dude. And he felt like he didn't fall on them with his full everything, but he grabbed those kids and balled up and like was balled up in a corner with them, like with his back to everybody else, just in case there was, you know, somebody decided to get crazy or, you know, wanted to start popping shots or whatever. But dude, it was like it was immediate. I mean, he didn't even think. He just dropped it down to his side and balled up on the kids and basically used himself as a shield. It was
more like a high risk warrant.
Yeah, I'd say it was. But out of that,
he was going in there and protecting them kids.
Oh, well, he went in initially to go get the bad guy. But as soon as he saw there were kids, that shit was done. And he was on the kids. Like he was 100% protecting the kids. Like his entire, I've never seen somebody's channel change so fast, you know, from go, go, go. And then it was like, bam. And he used himself as a shield and like got him in the corner of the couch and was like over him, not laying on them, but just using himself to shield them, you know, his armor and everything in case somebody did something. We ended up getting like 3 pounds out of that deal. And that was back in the day when it was, you know,
of the
big
crystals variety.
I believe there was some of that. This is 3 pounds of marijuana. But this was this was back when that was a big no-no. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I learned a lot on that.
It's crazy how you can go from, you know, somebody that's got a lot of experience to, you know, they're going in basically to protect themselves, and then they see these vulnerable kids, and they're like, "Oh crap!" So then they have to totally change what they're doing.
Oh, it was like instantaneous. I'll never forget that because we came around like I was behind him. I remember, and he went through the door, and you know he was up and looking for targets, and then I was like out of the corner of his eye because they were, you know, kind of back off over here around the corner, and he saw, and it was immediate. He slung that rifle down and just like he grabbed them all and balled up, like threw himself over them. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And then we continued and shoved people out and
went to work.
And then after we had everybody sat down, like I've never seen. That was I'm trying to remember who all was on there. We ended up freaking cooking dinner. Like we had, because you know we had cars all the way around it. So we had like probably every deputy y'all own was down there. And we had like 3 in the kitchen and they were all cooking dinner for the kids that were in there. We had the adults stuffed off over here and investigators were talking to them and doing their thing. And we had people in there going through and bagging stuff and cataloging it and doing what we need to do there. And then we had a group in there in the kitchen cooking stuff. We had sent people down to the store to get it. So we cooked dinner for those kids. I don't think they'll ever forget that, but
Yeah, that is something that you'll never see on the news.
no.
Yeah, like if we screw up, they're going to be all over that one. But doing something like that where you're being a human being, yeah, they'll never.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good thing because I hate being on there.
We had a crazy one happen this week. Wasn't really like a criminal involved, but it was pretty crazy. So we got a call about dog in the road.
Yeah.
So we go check this out. The mail carrier, and I think I'm not 100%, but mail carrier, and there's another dude we know, local contractor, and then this other lady. I don't know how she even got involved. Excuse me, but they had one of the dogs. There was two of them, but they had one of them in a kennel, and they had it in the back of the car. And there was another dog that was in this yard, and it was like foaming and drooling, and like it almost looked like it ate a frog. Because at first I'm like, okay, he's probably playing with a frog and got that stuff, and that's what making him foam, you know. And so I'm like, whatever. Well, the more we start watching this dog, he would spin in a circle, and then he would like walk forward, but then he'd walk backwards, and then he'd go sit right back down, and then he'd spin in a circle, and then he'd walk forwards. It was like he was stuck in a loop. What? And so we went over
He's
there.
stuck on repeat.
Yeah. So we go over there, and we're like, trying to whistle for him and get him to come to us, and it was like he was completely freaking blind. It's like we weren't even there, and he's panting and breathing and carrying on. So we're like, what the heck is wrong with this dog? Because he's still foaming, but he's not mean. And every now and then he'd take off and he'd run out, and then he'd make this circle and he'd come right back to where he's at. And then he'd run out and he'd make this circle and come right back to where he was at. And then he'd start backing up and going forward. And then he'd sit down and stand up and back and forward and sit down and stand up. It was crazy. We were like, what the hell is wrong with this dog?
He keep dipping his head down.
And she's like, the mail carrier's like, he's been doing this for like 20 minutes. I'm like, what? And she's like, but this one in the car over here, this one's not, he's acting weird, but he's not doing all that. And we're like, what? And this dog is just complete, you know how like you kind of sit on their haunches? This one was like his butt was rolled forward, and it was like he was sitting on his back, like his belly was all out, and it was just sitting there, and it was dazed, dude. It was just looking. I was like,
Have they been drinking?
no. That's what I thought.
This is where it gets weird.
So we got to try to figure out what we're going to do to them, and we can't tell. They almost like they've been poisoned or something, and they were having like ill effects of that. Well, the one that was just chilling, his belly all out, looking all crazy, the lady decides she's going to take him to the vet. So she's off on her way with that. Well, we still got this one. So now he's all foaming and snotting, and we don't know what the hell's wrong with him and don't want to touch him because we don't know what that is. We end up having to get him. Well, we take him down to the kennels. Same thing. Get him in the kennel, and he acts like there's this invisible wall. Like you could leave the kennel door open, and it was like there was an invisible wall. Like he'd hit it, and then he'd back up, and then he'd go in a circle, and then he'd back up and go in a circle.
We even tried to give him water.
Yeah.
And like he would sit there and like kind of like dip his head at the water and run back.
Yeah, dip his head at the water, and then he'd run back over to the door of the kennel, and then he'd sit down, and then he'd stand up, and then he'd sit down, and he'd stand up, and then
Was he on meth?
Yes, sir.
Oh, seriously?
Yes. Yeah. Because we were trying to figure out what's wrong with him, and our animal control was like, man, I've never seen it. Like, I don't think he's like, it's either neurological, something's wrong with him, or he's like, he had to have eaten something he shouldn't have. And he's like, well, there's only one way to really figure it out. He goes, I'm going to try to, we have tranquilizer. So he gave him a shot, just tried to get him to chill out for a little bit. Because he wasn't drinking. He wasn't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Gave him a shot. And like, I think he woke up a couple hours later.
An hour and a half later.
Hour and a half, right as rain.
And animal control said that shot should have knocked him out for at least 12 hours.
We'll have more coming up on Code 0.5.
If you're looking for a political podcast that goes beyond the headlines, check out the Beltway Briefing. I'm Howard Schweitzer, CEO of Cozen O'Connor Public Strategies. Every week on the Beltway Briefing, our team of former Republican and Democratic presidential appointees, Capitol Hill veterans, and political advocates shares behind-the-scenes perspective that cuts through the noise. If you want the inside scoop, subscribe now to the Beltway Briefing here or wherever you get your podcasts.
It was
How'd y'all figure out it was meth?
the lady that took the other dog. She called me later on and said that the vet said that it was toxicity.
Yeah.
They believe methamphetamine toxicity. But they said that it would run its course in 24 hours thereabouts. And then I guess the other one, other than being a little dehydrated, he's fine doing his thing. And then this one down here.
He tell me about how he sit down, stand up, sit down. He'd run in a circle. And I'm sitting there thinking he's acting like a tweaker.
Yes.
Oh, dude, his mind was going faster than his body could handle.
It was crazy.
That's why he couldn't really get a drink of water, because he'd jolt down to get a drink, but then pop his head right back up before he could actually get the drink.
I mean, he was
insane.
He was having it when we noticed, because when the way he would move, he'd bob his head like he's always bobbing his head. That's how he was blinking. Because it's like his eyes were stuck open. Yes, dude. God, I felt so bad. But he would Skinner noticed it, because he's like, I was like, that dog hasn't blinked in ever. And he's like, no, I think it is. And I was like, no.
It's like he's trying. He bobs his head to blink, so it's like he was trying to see. It's like,
yeah, he'd slam his head forward.
I swear, it's like he could see objects, but he couldn't see it defined in anything. Because whenever he was running out on that property, he was running around obstacles just fine, but then he would go right back to the original spot.
Yeah, but I mean, shoot, now he's eating, drinking. I mean, just chill. But he had he went on a bender.
And the vet said it would just run.
That's
its
what we
course.
should have named him, as Bender.
So the vet just said it'd run its course.
Yeah,
and he'd be all right.
I thought we were gonna name it Twitch or Tweak.
I don't know. We've already got a Tweak.
Yeah.
Which we haven't heard anything from him in a while.
Which is
a good thing.
That is a very good thing. That means we have made sure that he's staying out of stuff.
Well,
as he's supposed to.
That means you're doing, JOB.
Oh no.
So what is the order we've been doing these? Doing the traffic thing last?
It flip-flops between traffic last. You usually go over the statute so you can kind of encompass all that, and then we do the stupid criminal.
Well, I like your stupid criminal.
Yeah, that one was great.
We're gonna change it up. Oh, I've got a couple here.
No, that one you told us a while ago, that was freaking hilarious.
All right, so we're gonna hit this stupid criminal. All right. So in August of 1995, a man in Berlin decided to rob a bank with a handgun. Now, this acted out like a pretty standard bank robbery until the tellers asked him, "Do you need a bag?" To which this guy replied, "You're damn right it's a real gun." This made it obvious to the tellers that the robber was deaf. With this new realization, they sounded the alarm, which notified the police, while he was none the wiser.
Was it an audible alarm?
Yes. But here's the kicker. This guy later sued the bank for apparently abusing his disability.
I really want you to find out if he won that lawsuit or not.
Oh, I need to. Yeah, I definitely need to Google that one. So, and I got another one because that one was pretty brief. Can't even talk. So in 2008, an 18-year-old man named Ruben Zarate attempted to rob a muffler shop in Chicago. After demanding the money, he was told that most of the cash was stored in a safe that could only be opened by the manager, who wasn't scheduled to come in until a few hours later. To save himself some trouble, Zarate left his cell phone number for the store to call him back once the manager arrived.
No!
Of course, the store first called the police, and then they called Zarate back. When he came back, he noticed the police were waiting for him. He engaged in a brief shootout with the cops before eventually being arrested.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Oh, Harold, can you guys just call me so I can rob you again?
Just have that ready.
Jeez.
Gonna need that in small, unmarked bills. God, man.
The other surprising thing is that they knew to go ahead and let the police know, hey, this guy's going to come back.
Yeah, that could have went either way.
Yeah.
It definitely could have went either way. But this was back in 2008, so you know what I mean? They were thinking back then.
Hey, here's my phone number. When he comes back, let me know.
Yeah. And if I don't answer, leave me a voicemail. Hit him up on his pager.
Oh, man. And we need to tell that guy thank you because you're the reason we have jobs. All right, my traffic. We're not attorneys. This ain't legal advice, and this is based out of Oklahoma statute. Unattended children or vulnerable adults in motor vehicles. says a person responsible for a child who is 6 years of age or younger. Doesn't mean if you see a 10-year-old in a car and he's sitting out there that you have to bust the glass out. Anyway, 6 years of age or younger, or a caretaker of a vulnerable adult as defined by section blah, 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 shall not leave that child or vulnerable adult unattended in a motor vehicle if the conditions, including but not limited to extreme weather, inadequate ventilation, or hazardous or malfunctioning components within the vehicle present a risk to the health or safety of the unattended child or vulnerable adult. Okay, here's where it says, it shall not be considered a violation of this section if the child or vulnerable adult is accompanied in the motor vehicle by a person of at least 12 years of age who is not mentally incompetent. So if a 12-year-old is in the vehicle with his 2-year-old sibling, technically they're not doing anything wrong.
At least a company, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody in there sound the alarm if something happens.
But you see all the time those videos, and those most of the time when you see those videos of the window getting busted out, it's like a little bitty kid inside of a, what's it called, child restraint system or whatever.
And more times than not, the cars are usually off.
Yeah. But even according to this, if they're in there and, okay, but get this, say they're 2 and they're in the vehicle by themselves. And it says conditions, including but not limited to, say it's 105 out.
Mm.
There is no adequate ventilation.
Mm.
Well, I guess ventilation, I'm thinking just the windows being open. But say the vehicle's running and the air conditioner's on.
Yeah. I mean, if I saw it, excuse me, if I saw it, man, I'd probably have to like just kind of sit there and watch. Because, I mean, a 2-year-old, man, they can get into a lot of crap.
Yeah.
A lot of crap real fast, especially if they figured out how to undo that friggin' seatbelt.
Oh, I used to work with a guy. I'm not going to say what he was in law enforcement. I'm not going to say who he worked with, but he, I guess this would be back in the 80s. Is it the 80s vehicles that you didn't have to push the brake to get the vehicle out of park? Anyway, his kid was outside and got into his patrol unit. And when you pull up to your house or his house, the driveway went uphill.
Oh, no.
And then it went downhill, and then there's the street, and then it would go uphill to the neighbor's house across the street.
Mm-hmm.
This little kid got into dad's unit. He had come out and unlocked it for something and then ran back into the house. Well, during that brief moment, this kid got in there and put this thing into neutral. All he did was reach up and grab it, and it went into neutral because you didn't have to push the brake. And he said he come outside and he saw his unit. It had already hit the bottom of the hill, then went up into the neighbor's driveway, and then as it slowed down, it rolled back forward and come down into the road and then back up into his drive. So it was just going back and forth between the driveways. He said he run out, jumped in that thing while it was moving, threw it in park. His son just sitting there like, no big deal.
Did you imagine that phone call? Hey, Chief, nobody was more surprised than me to find out. Did you know you didn't have to push on the brake to make this? Oh, what if they were in a freaking hot situation and he's like, go, 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 and just throw it in drive. No, hang on. And, no, just go. How do you know that? I just do. Just go.
Don't ask.
Yeah.
Well, could you imagine what if the thing rolled down, went up in his neighbor's driveway and went into their garage or something?
No.
That's where I thought you were going with that.
He said that it was going back and forth between the driveways. And his little kid was just sitting in there.
It's like one of those little pendulum swings.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Do you have the lights on?
I don't know. He didn't say that part, or I can't remember it, but he had some good stories. He'd be a good one to have on here.
Oh, man.
Send it.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have to holler at him one day. He did like 30 years.
Oh, dang.
But anyway, we're going to get off here. We'll call this one. I don't know what else I'm going to say.
I don't either.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Yep. Later.
You have been listening to Code 0.5, the lighter side of police work. If you have ideas or suggestions for our show, we'd love to hear from you. Visit our website at code05.co. That's code05.co. And please consider making a donation at our Patreon page, patreon.com/code05. Be sure to use the digits 05. Thanks for listening to Code 0.5.